I love you too much. I don't want to.
What would you?
Or I could go and open the door and stick my butt.
Yeah. And then you just close the door real quick.
Open the door where Mickey is, stick my butt in there real quick and fart and run.
Yeah, it's possible.
You'd be like, what the? Yeah, you're a little upset about that. Oh, my goodness. You may not be happy.
I don't know, because, he does it all the time. So. Okay, so let me go ahead and
let's do it.
Okay, in my last video, I explained my DNA results and the fact that I ran down a cousin the first day. Showed up at his house, and we've been tight ever since. And here he is.
Hello, everyone. My name is Demetrius, and it is an honor and a privilege to be here with my cousin. The experience has been amazing. It's been a journey. I feel like I've known you way longer than we've met.
Yeah.
And the connection is real. This right here is the real deal. She's real. She's there's nothing fake about her. She tells it like it is. And there's so much about her that reminds me of my own mother. They have mannerisms that are similar. They have ways, they have likes and dislikes that are uncanny. Anyway, and it's interesting because Anita and I, we're not first cousins, we're not second cousins, we're not third cousins, we're like fourth cousins. But the connections between her, and she looks so much like my younger sister. So that Lucas DNA, that's what connects us, is our Lucas side, is strong for at least what we've inherited amongst us, is a definite strong Lucas link that connects us. And we'll talk more about the Lucases. And I remember Anita's other video, she had mentioned asking her mother what her grandfather was because he was so fair complected. He was so light skinned. And she said she wasn't sure. She had heard Italian. And then she asked her grandmother, because this was her great grandfather. So she asked her grandmother. Her grandmother said, "Oh, we're just Black." And that's the story for most Black people, specifically a lot of us who come from the South, is we have a mixture. And that mixture in our family is European, African, and Native American. Or triracial. And so, but that's not uncommon for many Blacks in the South to have that kind of a mixture. Old census records that we've looked up on our ancestors have indicated that some were Black, but most of them were labeled as mulatto, which identified back then meant that you were mixed with something. Could have been Native American. Obviously, it wasn't just Black, it was white, it was a mixture. So anyway.
Yeah, I always thought that mulatto meant Black and white. Never thought about anything else.
Yeah. So the term mulatto, there's a history behind that. And very rare that our ancestors back then self-describe as mulatto, because the term mulatto is pejorative in nature. It was not necessarily meant to be a compliment. It was a category that white society placed mixed race people in. And many of you know the story of Plecker and the whole eugenics movement back in the 1800s. And he reclassified many Native American peoples as mulatto in order to take away their status, their land, their identity, and in a way to dehumanize them. And by classifying them as mulatto would imply that they had some Negro ancestry, which many of them didn't. And so So the term mulatto had taken on a whole different meaning. And so when you would see mulatto in census records, it could mean black and white, or it 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 could mean any other race. It was the census taker who was oftentimes establishing the term to the people that they saw. So the term was very subjective to the census taker. So you could have members in the same household where the husband is mulatto and the wife is black, or vice versa. Um, where in truth, both could have been mixed, but depending on their phenotype, how they looked, the census taker may have decided to classify them as mulatto because they thought they looked mixed race. So anyway, it, you know, it's neither here or there, but the history of our family, at least our Lucas line that we know, is that it is triracial. And Anita's great grandfather, whose name was Andrew Lucas, was my great grandfather, Luther Lucas's brother. And so we are descendants of two brothers, and we are 1, 2, 3 generations down. So, but anyway, that's our story, and that's how we meet. And you know.
Yeah, so the way I found him was on Ancestry. You had the DNA matches. And what sucks to me is that when you're looking at them, some people will put their names on there, some people will put whatever, and then others have initials. And so I found two lines that had initials, but they were both managed by the same person. And it was she the third one in line for my matches? So my first match is my grandmother's sister. The second is her son or grandson. Son?
Oh, Henderson?
Yeah.
Was it Sean?
Yeah, Sean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the third was initials. So I just went ahead, emailed, and see if I got a response, and I did. And when he responded to me, he gave me his phone number, and I saw that it was the same area code. So I called, and we started talking, found out that the DNA match was not his, but his mother's. So her and I share was a lot of what exactly?
So the way you measure how much you relate to each other, DNA wise, the term used is centimorgans. So centimorgans is a measurement of how much chromosomal match you have with the person. So for my mom and Anita, they share about 175 centimorgans of chromosome, 170 to 160 centimorgans. And so, which would indicate that they are, I'm not mistaken, third cousins. And then my mother and Anita's mother are second cousins, which makes sense because they both come from, both of their grandfathers are brothers. So they would be second cousins. Anyway,
Yeah.
And so Anita's been living here in Raleigh for what, 15 years?
15 years, yeah.
And I lived here in Raleigh when I was younger, and I've been here for years. And then I moved, and then I came back, and I always knew there were a lot of Lucas folk here in the Raleigh area. I always knew that because
I never thought about it.
Our great grandparents, her great grandfather, my great grandfather, they had altogether, I think, 16 or 17 siblings. So with that being said, there was always going to be that chance that there would be a whole lot of descendants, and there are. And that's just our branch. But there's so many other Lucases in North Carolina and Virginia and all over the country, too numerous to count. There are people in North Carolina who are descendants of Lucases who don't even know that they're descendants of Lucases.
Yeah.
And I believe it's understood that the Lucas family at one time was the third largest family, free people of color family, in North Carolina during the 17 and 1800s. They originate out of Chase City, Virginia during the 1600s. and then they migrated into North Carolina and other parts. But I think it's the third largest. But in North Carolina only. But yeah, but that's our history. So anyway, one of the things we wanted to kind of just show you is I took my ancestry test recently, and the results just came in. But I also tested with 23andMe about a year or two ago. And before I show you my results, and I want to show you both Ancestries and 23andMe so you all can see the comparison between the two. But before I show you mine, there's a little bit of a brief thing you'll notice is that the name on my ancestry results is different than my name, Demetrius. And the same is true on my 23andMe results. I assumed an alias for both, for reasons I don't really want to get into here. But I did find some rather disturbing information about my parentage that I was not aware of through Ancestry as it relates to my father. And for the sake of protecting people and not creating an unnecessary family issue, I decided to test under an alias because it's just such a sensitive matter. And any of you out there who've gone through this, you know what I'm talking about when you find out that the person you thought was your said parent isn't. It's shocking, it's disturbing, especially if you find out circumstances behind it can even make it worse. So anyway, that's the reason why you'll see a different name, but they're mine. These are my results. They're not somebody else's. I am Jaquarius Bryant. I am L. Benoit when you see the name. That's me. So anyway.
And Bryant is a name
that Bryant is a name that I chose. That is a family surname. So there is some relevance there. Jaquarius, I just picked up out of a hat. I don't know. And so, but Benoit or Benoit or whatever name that I picked on the other one, no. Yeah, I don't know. I just got that out of my head. So anyway, all right. So there it is. Well, so do you just want to show the results, or are we missing anything? Is there something we need to be talking about? Or just go to the results? What do you want to do?
Yeah, because I guess, other things we can just talk along the way.
Okay. All right. So for my first results, let's see here. So these are my results. As you can see there, it's pretty self-explanatory. Nothing was surprising to me about these results. In fact, these results are a little bit different because this is my second time taking Ancestry, and those results are way different than the results that I just got back yesterday. So, yep, 36% Nigerian, 26% Cameroon, Congo, Southern Bantu peoples. So 5% Benin, Togo. I'm just going over my sub-Saharan African ancestry part. 5% Mali, 4% Ghana. So, and then my European ancestry, English, Wales, and Northwestern Europe is 18%. And I have Norwegian ancestry of 4%. And then I have Native American or Indigenous Americas ancestry of 2%. Again, this is just an Ancestry. And another great thing about Ancestry is it's showing what areas of the country your ancestors are coming from or they live.
I like that.
Yeah, and Anita finds that very informative. Yes. Why do you like it so much?
Because I guess part of the reasons my father was just so into our ancestry and where we were from and all this, and he would show me on the map, all the different areas. And so for me, it's just fascinating to see. Yours is cool, I think, because it's not as colorful as mine. I told you before, for me, having so many, it was kind of, I wasn't happy about that.
So here's my issue with this piece here, about the different areas. Um,
What is this? Where is that?
uh,
What is that?
oh, that's a piece of Alaska,
Oh, it
just
is.
coming over from the other
Oh,
side.
duh.
Yeah.
I see it.
My issue with this is, and there's nothing wrong, I just think it tends to pigeonhole the ethnicity of my people, even though the results you see are diverse. So it's saying early North Carolina African Americans, Mid-Atlantic Coast African Americans, North Central North Carolina African Americans. It's all African American, but I obviously have some European ancestry, but Ancestry has chosen not to recognize where those folk came from.
Hmm.
And I find that really odd.
Well, it's right here.
Well, it's showing it up in the color, but what I'm saying is it's telling me here that my descendants are all African American from these different areas. But I know I have some white ancestors who come from those same areas. And that's my own point, you know.
So this is saying from England and all that is this.
Yeah, which is confusing to me.
Well,
I don't understand the title. So it says early North Carolina African Americans,
yeah.
but then on below it
Click on
says
them.
from your regions. So it says, yeah, so yeah,
It's still not.
African Americans can trace their ancestry back to West Africa. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm not getting
Yeah.
what the relevance is.
Well, see, the other thing for me that I don't like, and that's with
This is not this.
anyone who wants
All
to
this
tell
does is
history.
confuse me.
Yeah. For me, we weren't all descendants of slaves. So I don't
That's
like
right.
I don't like that whole part anyway.
That's right. That's right. And because we know that at least with our Lucas line that they were free people of color. And not
Right.
that there's anything wrong with the fact that, because both of us have ancestors who were enslaved. But this paints a picture that I don't think paints an accurate picture.
No.
You know, I think
Yeah.
it paints part of the picture.
Just
but
because we were in Virginia doesn't automatically mean we were slaves, or North Carolina doesn't automatically mean that.
right.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. So it confuses me, you know. You know.
Hey.
So anyway, that's where I am with that. And that's my DNA with Ancestry. Let's go back here.
So the indigenous Americas. You're looking there and it's there.
So where am I going now? Here?
Yeah.
Here.
Well, here. You're indigenous Americas. Have we figured that part out yet? Or is
So you mean like tribal?
yeah.
Well, what I figured out is that there's a mixture going on where in my family, the family names that are connected to that seem to be Lumbee Indian. If any of you are aware of the Lumbees, those are the people who live close to like Lumberton, North Carolina, near the North Carolina, South Carolina border. And they're the ones who are mixture. They're a mixture of Indians. At one time, they were known as Croatan back in the day, or Southeast Cherokee. But we have a lot of family ties on the Lucas side tied to the Lumbee. But then there's another line that we're connected to that seems to be, well, at least that I know I'm connected to, that seems to be Cherokee, through these Sizemores and the Bowlings. And their descendants connect all the way to Pocahontas. I see the connections. I see those families related to me, but I'm not absolutely sure. You know, so unlike you, where you're Native American, you can pinpoint what tribes, the Taino from Puerto Rico, you know, and it breaks down even more for you.
Yeah.
You know, which I would think is, and your your results are beautiful. Like, you know, they're just so diverse. I love that about your results. You know, but so yeah, and then on 23andMe, if I can pull that up and let you all see the difference. Oh, where is it touchscreen?
Yeah. Because it's right here, but you can't see it.
So
I'm thinking it would be right there.
how can I
One of
get
the
there?
columns.
Can I touch it?
Mm-hmm. That one.
Oh, okay. So here's my 23andMe results. And
You gotta move that one. Oh, stop sharing and then share again.
oh, I see. So right here.
So blue.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I could stop talking and just hit the screen.
Oh, it's all right. And so would I just share screen again?
Yes.
Okay. And now that's going to pull up this one.
You want one, or do you want? You want one? I think.
Okay.
Maybe not. Oh, we do.
Oh,
Stop
I'm
it.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
No, hit stop.
Mm-hmm.
Hit.
Share screen. Oh, and go here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks, so for being patient. Okay, so these are my results from 23andMe, and I wish I could put them side by side so you can see the difference. 23andMe I like better because it really breaks down everything about you. It breaks down what tribe, like I love the fact that it breaks down my tribal connections in Africa. Not just saying that I'm Nigerian, but it includes the fact that I have 34% Nigerian, 15% Ghanaian, Liberian, and Sierra Leonean. Senegambian and Guinean, I have 3%, and then broadly West African.
So if you click on the arrow, does it give it more of a breakdown? Yeah, do it on that screen.
Oh, I see. See. Oh.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I don't know what's doing.
Moving slow. That's what it's doing.
Yeah. So I know you guys out there all have your own. Oh, okay. This is just a screen that ends up breaking down what your Nigerian ancestry is, where they come from, which is really informative, actually. When you click on it, it tells you all about the different traditions, the history, the art, the customs, which I think is really, really awesome. You know, it plays the music. If you want to click, there's a hyperlink to click on Nigerian music if you want to hear Nigerian music, and
which I love.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I think this is pretty cool, you know. And there's a whole discussion board if you want to join to talk more about your Nigerian ancestry with others. So yeah, I like that part. I do.
I thought it was going to be like more sophisticated and like really break down.
Oh, I see. To break it down even further.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if I'm Igbo or Yoruba or something like that.
Well, I guess that's what what is it called? AfricanAncestry.com. They're supposed to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the other ancestry test site.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why can I move?
It's spinning.
Oh, okay. But yeah, but I do like that. And then my European, it says I'm 24% European, 22%, which is generally speaking Northwestern European. Of that, 9% is British. Now, this one is a little bit more specific because if you see it says 9+ regions, if I click on that, it will open up what areas of England my ancestors came from. And, so like it'll say if it's London or Glasgow or whatever other parts, it breaks it all down for you. But there's another one. I don't know which one that is. But anyway, I like 23andMe better, more. It's just, to me, more specific as it relates to ethnicity. Family tree wise, I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't help you with connecting with your family members. But this part right here is, well, anyway, that went away, didn't it?
Yeah.
On its own. Okay, that's fine. And then this next part showing my Southeastern, East Asian ancestry, 1.9% Native American, 0.9% Chinese, 0.7% Indonesian, Thai, Khmer, and the like. And then there's trace ancestry that I have here. Let's see, broadly Western Asian and North African, and broadly Central and South Asian. So yeah, I just like the breakdowns better.
It is. Yeah. Your map's colorful.
Yeah. And then this presupposes when these different ethnicities entered into my DNA. So they're saying between 1910 and 1850 is when my 100% Nigerian ancestor came into the picture. And then the British ancestry came in around that same time. So my thinking is that there may have been one white parent, one black parent who came in.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That. Yes.
Yeah. With that kind of combination. That could be the way it's looking at it, but it may not necessarily have been just like that, right. But it's just giving an idea of when these different ethnic ancestries came into my family line.
A Viking and a Thai got together.
That's very possible. Or French and an Indian got together. It's possible in 1820.
The Spanish was like in the African hunter-gatherer.
Okay, hello, or it could have been that this is two different people with the combination of all four. Who knows?
Yeah.
So,
right.
But either way, it's saying that this is what I have.
30-year span. So.
Yeah. So anyway, so there's that part right there. And then this part here breaks down how much of what I got from my mother and how much of what I got from my father. So it shows that from my father, I got almost 50% of my
That's cool, because I don't
African.
see that on Ancestry.
No, you don't. Even though Ancestry would tell you what ancestors come from your mother's side.
Right, but it doesn't.
But then the mother has
to
test.
See this.
Yeah. And then, so it tells me how much I got from each. So I'm getting 1.2% Native American from my father's side and 1.6% Native American East Asian from my mother's side. So I like the fact it tells me what I'm getting from each side.
Yeah.
So most of my European is coming from my mother. And you can probably see, that she would have significant European. She's almost 50% European. So yeah, so there's that. So, okay. So that's that. That's my story. And there it is. Yeah. Okay.
Well, because at the time that we met, your DNA wasn't on Ancestry, so we couldn't compare our DNA. And then that's when you told me about GEDmatch.
Oh, right. Okay, there we go. Oh, yeah. Right.
So we were able to combine or compare our DNA by using GEDmatch.
Right.
Now with GEDmatch, if you're on any of them, right? 23andMe, well, what other one? So 23andMe,
Ancestry, FTDNA, MyHeritage.
So MyHeritage has a kit.
You can do a kit for MyHeritage.
Okay, okay. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. That's why I didn't want to
Yeah,
bring that
you
up.
sure can. And not a fan of MyHeritage. I actually transported my raw DNA data over to MyHeritage, and that's how I got my results.
Okay.
Yeah, I never tested. Your DNA is
Did
over
I
there
do
too.
that?
Yeah,
Okay,
you did.
I couldn't remember if I did it.
And I think you did the same thing. You brought your raw DNA over. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to compare DNA, but you use a different company than someone else, you can use GEDmatch by transferring your DNA over there and comparing it over there.
That's right. GEDmatch is a free service. They've gone through a proprietorship change, which actually has benefited the site. Before, they didn't have anybody who was kind of over the site. So there was some concern over in the UK about DNA being mismanaged or mishandled and possibly laws being broken. So a company, I can't remember the name, it's Verigen, I believe, they bought GEDmatch and took over. And now what they've done is they put in place certain protections so that the information can't just be used for whatever. And now law enforcement uses GEDmatch to help find people who've committed crimes.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people who don't want to participate for that reason.
That's right. And so the new owners of GEDmatch give you the option to opt out if you don't want your DNA to be used to locate a particular criminal who might be related to you. You can say, don't use my DNA for that, and they will honor it. I don't have a problem with it because if somebody hurt my mama or did something heinous to any one of my family members, to my cousin, I want them found and brought to justice.
Yeah.
And if my DNA will help locate this person, I am all for it. Other people feel that there's a possibility it could be misused in some way and bring and maybe somehow harm innocent people. We live in the age of DNA now. And if anything that I've seen is that DNA has brought the proper people to justice and exonerated the wrong people.
Right.
And so for that reason, I'm on board with the way, GEDmatch is used. But GEDmatch has a number of various tools that you can use, which I love, which will help identify your ethnicities, identify relatives. It has
Hey, Ted.
all these amazing tools. So I am a fan of GEDmatch. Any of my family will tell you.
Yeah.
I have people's kit numbers memorized.
Yeah.
So so I do love GEDmatch. It's through GEDmatch that I've been able to establish and find a lot of my Native American ancestry family members who are connected to it. So I am a fan.
Well, we can briefly show it.
Oh, okay. Is it still up there?
I believe it is.
Okay, so what I'll show you is GEDmatch has this thing called DNA Chromosome Painter. And, oh, okay.
No, I was just.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. And this is Anita's DNA Chromosome Painter. So what you're looking at is you're going to be looking at all 22 chromosomes of Anita's DNA. And
21.
yeah, 22. So glad. And on each chromosome, you'll see various colors, and each color represents an ethnicity that she descends from. And I think this is a really beautiful visual of capturing how diverse some of us are.
Yeah, I'm beginning to look at this differently now. Even though I wanted to see like all one color.
Am I doing it right?
Yes.
So yeah, so here's Anita's chromosome painter. And the different colors represent, like the black, it represents, of course, West African. Um, so the black background is showing all of her West African. And then the yellow is her European. As you can see, the legend supports that. That's Northeast European. The green or the turquoise that you see is her Native American. And she has quite a bit of that. She's got just a whole bunch of mixture of that. And the purple is more Mediterranean. So, and the red is the South Indian. The reddish is more South Indian, like from India and from Southeast Asia. And then the Baloch, Baloch, that is more Iranian, Middle Eastern, Iraqi, all of that, Pakistani. That is.
What am I not?
Yes. What are you now? You are a mixture of everything, which is absolutely beautiful. So, yeah. So this is on GEDmatch. So it's free. So all you have to do is download your results from Ancestry. Download your results from Ancestry or from 23andMe or from whatever ancestry test company you've gone to. You can download your raw DNA to GEDmatch for free. And they'll do the rest for you, and you can play around with it, and it's going to give you all this wonderful information. And it will also help you find cousins.
Yeah,
that's another wonderful
because
thing about it.
I see people all the time talking about this is fake, it doesn't work, it's made up, but I wouldn't have found him if it was fake.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. Yeah, it's amazing how we met. And again, like I said at the beginning, the similarities in our family, we're so close. Again, we're not first, second, or third cousins. We're like fourth cousins. But people have said we resemble. I do see a resemblance between your brother Danny and me. Her children, when they first met me, they thought, "Oh, Uncle Danny," which is a compliment. Danny's a handsome guy. Poor Danny. But that's the way I see it. And he's a really nice guy. Just met him back during Thanksgiving when he came with his wife. But it's wonderful meeting family. It is irreplaceable to know more of your own people. So this whole experience has been very rewarding. It's had some twists and turns, and some shakeups. But it's been more rewarding than it has anything else. And it reveals truths.
Yeah, that it does.
DNA does not lie.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's fascinating it's funny for you to see certain things about me, mannerisms, or just things that I don't like, things that I have issues with. And you tell me that your mother's the same way.
Yeah, like her and my mother both love spinach. Like they love spinach. And they both hate water.
Yes.
That's just a couple. Like there's a litany of things.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It is.
What was that last one that really freaked you out? What was it?
I can't remember because there's been so many.
Yeah.
Little nuances.
There's
just like
I thought only my mother did that. Like no. It's me too.
And when I was first getting to know and meet Anita, I would like, I don't even know how to do. I would say or do certain things, and like Anita sent me this video that she wanted me to check out, and it was something to do with, I don't know, Black people, and it's something to do historically with Black people or something. And my background is, my background is Jehovah's Witnesses, so I have certain strong belief systems associated with that. And so, anyway, in speaking to her, we were just talking about just a general subject. And I guess I started talking to her about the Bible, and she was like, where did this come from? What is all of this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I thought I was okay, but you know, and then I asked my mom, I said, what is that? She says, who does that? Why are you talking about all of that? And it was through the messenger that I'm typing all this stuff to her. And my mom was like,
I said,
that's
damn,
too,
I didn't think I was gonna get a whole sermon.
yeah, that's the I know. And my mom was like, that's too much. That's too much. And I was like, yeah, I guess it is, huh? And she's like, yeah. So I dialed it back. I was like, okay, you know, because you know, yeah, I realized it was too much, you know, but it was funny. And but it's all in the process of getting to know each other, and I grow to love her. We are very different. We are different people, you know. But
Yeah, because you're always apologizing.
I always feel, yeah, it's true. I always feel like if I send her a text and she doesn't answer, I figure I've said something wrong in that text. You know, she must be upset with me. And she's like, what are you talking about? I've been working. I didn't even see the text. And I'm busy saying I'm sorry and I'll never send that text again.
Yeah.
I'll never say that again. And she's like, what's wrong with you? So, yeah, so it's, yeah.
Like, calm down, it's all right.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, but it is what
It's
it
been
is.
fun.
It has been, and the learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a lot of my Lucas relatives that are from Jersey, and she's one of them. A lot of Lucas relatives in Jersey, lots.
Yeah.
So
You can take me out of Jersey.
yeah, and then her husband teases me and calls me white boy, calls me Alex Keaton, and stuff like that. And
But he's a character.
But you know, it is all in the family. It's all love.
Yeah, he's a whole nother character.
He's really funny because a lot of times I know I can kind of see his point, but you know, it's nothing but love. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there it is. That's it. That's it.
It's been a lot of fun. Don't be afraid. Well, I don't want to say don't be afraid to test, because what if they do kill us all off and we've made other people?
Well, I thought you were meaning don't be afraid over what you might find.
I was going to get to that.
Oh, okay. But don't be afraid to test.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest here. At this day and age, if they've got some kind of plot to do whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna do it anyway.
Right.
You know, they're gonna find a means to do it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way I see it anyway. But to go back to the point, don't be afraid to test. I think you have to keep your mind open to what you may find, because what you might find is not what you necessarily may expect. You know, and if you reach out to relatives and they don't reach back to you, don't get offended. Don't worry. You know,
it could be that they just didn't see it.
Or it could be that they could be white relatives who ain't ready to accept the fact that they got a black cousin.
I've only had one that responded to me.
And I've had several who responded to me, and I have really good relationships with a number of them, which has been really rewarding. But there are going to be some who, like I had one, and I won't say his name, but I said, "Oh, you're related to my great grandfather, Alexander Purdue," and he said, "Oh," and he said, what was his race? And I said, well, in the census, he's listed as mulatto. And so he disconnected from me. And when I went back and looked at his tree, he had my great grandfather on there, Alexander Purdue, listed, but put in parentheses, black man. So, you know, he cut off communicating with me and didn't put black man. So I don't know, you know, racism is real, and the reality of race mixing and us being descendants of that is something that some people just choose not to stomach or accept. You know, maybe their ancestors owned our ancestors and they know it, and they don't want to have that as a blotch on their family tree. Who knows? Who knows? You know, life happens.
Because if that land was supposed to be left to the children, that's our land.
Oh, well, yeah, land rights. Or like Queen Sugar. I don't know. I'm a Queen Sugar fan, so y'all. So those of you who watch Queen Sugar, that's kind of like what's going on in that show. But anyway,
why it was the white
they found out that they were related to the white people who had stolen their great-great-grandfather's land from them.
No, no. What I'm saying is, if the white guy had kids, they just automatically think it's their land. No, he left it to his kids.
Oh,
so
right.
it's ours.
Oh, I see what you're
And
saying.
I actually watched the program. It wasn't a program. It was court.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy won.
Oh. Oh.
He won because they were like, well, yeah, if he was your grandfather, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's yours just as much as it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I don't want it. Just pay me off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it does happen.
If I had time on my hands, that would be something I would do. I would get into taking land back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would think that would take a lot of energy.
That's another episode. Yeah, that's I said. If I had the time, I would be all over it. I'd be snatching land.
Really?
Yeah, that's not yours. Oh yeah, take it all back.
Yeah, ain't got time for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I get you. I know you, Anita.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you will be all over that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It would feel great every time. And not even my own land. I like helping other people. Oh, yeah, that's not yours. Here, that's yours. Yeah, maybe I can get one of my kids to do it.
Which one?
That'll be there.
Which one would be there?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Thailand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Jaden, I don't think he would. He might surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my story.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah. It has been so good to meet you. It really has. How long has it been now? 2 years?
Not yet.
It's not 2?
No.
Oh, when's 2?
March.
Oh, wow.
March 8th, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, March 8th.
Wow.
I got my results back February 14th. And then I reached out to you, or you responded to me March 8th.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. But it feels like forever.
Yeah, I feel like I've known you all my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next video we will probably show more GEDmatch and how all the different things that you can do, and maybe a kind of a step-by-step of how to upload, right?
Mm-hmm.
Upload the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And all that has to offer, because that website is really, really interesting. There's a lot in it. And then I was thinking maybe even having our other cousin log in.
Which one, Naima or Julian?
Julian.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Julian. He's a wealth of knowledge. He is serious about his genealogy. He knows his stuff. He combs those records. He gives great advice on how to find certain things. He looks at it all. And he's been extremely and greatly instrumental in helping me find and understand certain things. So he would be really good for you to have.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can get him to get on camera.
He's,
I don't know.
He loves himself. Like,
yeah.
Another trait that I think is that we all have, or a lot of us.
And interesting about Julian is related to me through a different line, and related to Anita on a whole different line.
Related
to Anita's husband. So he is a weirdo genetically. He's related to everybody.
His family was hoes.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of connections there. Hoes.
Really? I mean,
okay.
How do you relate to all of us?
Well, I mean, so the term endogamy is the word where you got all these family lines that are intermingled, and that's the deal with you.
Saying it.
Yeah. That's Julian's story. Yeah.
So yeah, at some point you will meet Julian.
Yes. Julian's lines, like he's fifth cousins with John Legend. And then he's related, I don't know who else he's related to. Like I found out Billie Holiday is my fourth cousin, and Arthur Ashe was my cousin. And
well, that app told me that both Obama and
both
Obamas and Bill Clinton is related to me.
Okay. All righty. Yeah.
Well,
But
I don't know.
Yeah. So do the genealogy. It's fun. It's relaxing. You never know what you're going to find. You might find that you're related to us.
Yeah.
You might see us on your list of matches,
Yeah.
And that's always cool.
Yeah. And that is it for now.
It is so late here and I'm so tired, y'all. I'm trying to keep my eyes open because we started late. We're trying to get everything together.
Too busy talking and messing around.
But now I'm so sleepy and I know I'm ready to go home. It's 11:16.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if anybody's watching.
And I need to go to bed.
Yeah. So thank you all. It was nice being here. Keep supporting Anita. She talks about some interesting things, and I'm sure she's going to talk about some more interesting things as time goes on. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll think of something.
She's controversial. Anyway.
Oh, that's a nice way of putting it.
Controversial. Yeah.
Well.
We have some interesting discussions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we should record some of those too. See ya.
Bye. Okay.